Bobby gets up every stinking day and he goes to work and he rolls up his sleeves and he gets the job done. And by God, if Bob wants to fap to daughter porn with her former teachers, who the fuck are you to tell him he can't? If Bob wants to loan his wife out to his friends for an all-night blitzed-up legal drug-fueled gangbang and then finish it off by snorting prescription painkillers so he doesn't come too early, then by God, that's his right as an American and a patriot. Who the fuck are you, sick fascist, to judge Bob?
Andrew Wilson goes nuclear on this woman for claiming that Christian nationalism is un-American. As Andrew Wilson listens to Erudite's prompt that states that the U.S. is not a church, claims that science supersedes Christianity that formed the United States today, and Andrew Wilson slams those narratives down. Let's get in.
Welcome to a debate edition of the Whatever podcast, coming to you live from Santa Barbara, California. I'm your host and moderator, Brian Atlas. A few quick announcements before the show begins. This podcast is viewer supported, so please consider donating through Streamlabs. That's streamlabs.com/whatever. TTS is going to be $199 and up. There will be no instant TTS. TTS will come in batches at various breaks throughout the debate. You can see the description for all triggers and full details. Without further ado, I'm joined today by Andrew Wilson, host of The Crucible. He is a blood sports debater and political commentator. Also joining us today is Kyla, or as she goes online, NotSoErudite. She has an undergraduate in psychology and a graduate diploma in psychometrics. She's a content creator, streamer, and is a political and social commentator. You each have about 3-minute opening statement each, and then straight into open conversation. I believe you're going first, Kyla.
Sure. Do we have any prompts we want to read first? Do you want me to just jump into it?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I'll read the prompts then. So that we're going to cover 4 prompts, time permitting. There's Christian nationalism is un-American. That's prompt 1. Prompt 2, Christians should attempt to maintain political power in U.S. and rule through Christian ethics as it is the superior system. Prompt 3, secular states are destined to likely revert back to religiously informed governments because atheists have no moral basis for which to govern. Prompt 4, moderate liberal values are not compatible with Christianity.
Modern.
Modern liberal values. My mistake. Go ahead.
America is not a church, and that is not a weakness. It is one of the greatest strengths of America. The American experiment was built on a bold idea. Faith must be freely chosen. Conscience must be protected. Political power must be limited. The founders, men of inquiry, men of science, men who built universities and ran experiments, drafted a constitution that banned religious tests for office. That was not hostility to Christianity. That was confidence in its integrity. Because when church and state merge, bias corrupts the state. But more importantly, to me, power corrupts the church. Separation does not weaken the church, it protects it. America's ethos is simple. We do what works. And how do we know what works? Science. We test, we measure, we build, we refine. If it fails, we discard it. If it succeeds, we scale it. That instinct, that relentless pursuit of truth through evidence is not anti-Christian. It is a reflection of intellectual humility. America is industry. America is laboratories and shipyards and production lines that outwork empires. America is the Manhattan Project, physicists racing equations against tyranny and winning. America is the P-51 Mustang, not sacred tradition, but engineering superiority screaming across the sky. That spirit defeated fascism. It destroyed communism. It mapped the atom. It put satellites in orbit. It built the medical systems, infrastructure, and technology that shape the modern world. My America fears no truth. It preserves through discovery. It does not shrink from paleontology, geology, or evolutionary biology. Truth is not an enemy of faith. If God is sovereign, then no discovery threatens him. Evolution and belief have coexisted for generations. Scientific advancement need not displace theological conviction. America did not fight a revolution to resurrect sacred hierarchy. It did not cast off empire to create another throne draped in religious conformity. It created a republic confident enough to protect the liberty of conscience for all people. Religious principles need no safeguarding anyway. Christianity survived the Roman Empire. It persisted despite Nero trying to kill them. It grew to prominence and converted the known word not by sword, but by the quill. I wish my Christian brothers and sisters today still had the same confidence in the gospel that they had then. My America is equal protection under the law, freedom of speech, limits on state power. Those are not principles foreign to Christianity. They echo the belief that every person bears dignity, that coercion cannot produce genuine faith, and that moral transformation begins in the heart, not in legislation. Christianity has flourished for many of the same reasons that America has. They have thrived without subjugation, and they have spread without war. And when they did either of these two things, people came to hate it. The American dream and the holy word persuade because people believe their truth, not because it is enforced. America moves forward, America builds, America competes, America leads, not by fusing church and state, but by unleashing human ingenuity without demanding theological uniformity first. America is doing what works, and that is why it leads the world.
Are you just taking the water break, or do you... Oh, done? Okay, perfect.
But what remained in the States was religion. America was founded with freedom of religion, but it was founded by people who were mostly Christian. Soon after, churches were formed and people went to them and they shared the gospel. There's no way back then. Most people didn't have some form of Catholicism belief despite being freedom of religion. Let's continue.
I'm way too hungover for this shit, but I got a beer, so that'll help me hear the dog a little bit. So just to be blunt, some of the reasons that I don't particularly enjoy debating with Erudite is because there's a specific style she has, which is called the pop quiz style. When Kyla gets in trouble around arguments and worldview, she drops a pop quiz. Do you know what X is? X usually being a random obscure fact, which has little to nothing to do with the conversation. And your inability to answer it's met with smug delight and upspeak as she explains some random fact. The reason I bring this up is because I want the audience to be aware that I'm really just I hate the pop quiz debates. It's an old Twitch take, and it's just, to me, it's cringe. It's not the Socratic method. It's just I'm gonna introduce a pop quiz about some factoid that is completely irrelevant to the debate. But anyway, when leftists say anything is un-American, I'm forced to laugh about it. Progressives and liberals like Erudite here only have one single value structure ultimately, and it's loyalty to an amoral liberal system. To progressive liberals, and I kid you not, let's give an example. The example of Bob. Bob can go buy a brand new deluxe PC for his 18-year-old daughter, put a camera on top of it, and manage her career as a porn star on OnlyFans, while he's upstairs with her former teachers fapping to it on his Oculus porn helmet, and there isn't a fucking thing anybody can do about it, because Bob pays taxes. Bobby gets up every stinking day and he goes to work and he rolls up his sleeves and he gets the job done. And by God, if Bob wants to fap to daughter porn with her former teachers, who the fuck are you to tell him he can't? If Bob wants to loan his wife out to his friends for an all-night blitzed up legal drug-fueled gangbang and then finish it off by snorting prescription painkillers so he doesn't come too early, then by God, that's his right as an American and a patriot. Who the fuck are you, sick fascist, to judge Bob? He ain't breaking any laws. He pays his taxes, and he's following the system, baby. And that's what matters. The liberal process of amoral systems rather than immoral. Everything's permitted. If the global hegemon of the world needs to put machine guns to the back of little Africans' heads so they can dig out the special Sudanese cell phone crystals, then so fucking be it. Bob needs his perfect reception for his satellite-driven cell phone in order to get the perfect nude image of his wife being split down the middle like a piece of meat in an all-white bread sandwich. And who the fuck are you to tell Bob shit? Nobody. That's who. Just a judgmental little fascist trying to legislate morality in an amoral system which is oriented around a nonsense of a smorgasbord of moral buffets, which boils down to a choose-your-own degenerate adventure. Nothing short of that is un-American. Here's a bunch of un-American stuff, depending on when you were alive. Universal suffrage, pretty fucking un-American. Abolishing slavery was pretty fucking un-American. Homosexuality was definitely un-American. Age of consent laws were un-American. Incest laws were un-American. Income taxes were un-American. Sex outside of wedlock was un-American. Refusal to duel when being called out was un-American. Not being white was un-American. Co-ed schools were un-American. Black people in white schools, so un-American, we needed the military involved. The list goes on and on. But according to Erudite, Christian nationalism is un-American because America basically begins in the early 20th century based on Lincoln models of federalism. That's what's American. Part of that, of course, should be not listening to a person who grew up under a king in a constitutional monarchy like she did. Gross. Bunch of fascist bootlickers over in Maple Land. That's pretty fucking un-American too. Christian nationalism is as compatible with Americanism as the liberal order of amoral systems allows, which means perfectly compatible because there isn't any ought to tell it no. The entire proposition from the liberal angle itself is self-refuting. It just goes like this. If people vote for Christian nationalists, what are they doing which is un-American? The answer? Fucking nothing. If they vote in a KKK, Nazi fascist, Hugo Boss, SS uniform wearing lunatic who packs the court, persecutes all non-whites, all within the whim and the confines of the amoral system, then what's un-American about that? And the answer? Fucking nothing. Because the progressive liberal system is built on nothing. Just vague appeals to my rights and my freedoms and my own system, which allows you to get rid of the system. It's absurd and self-refuting. That's my opening.
Cool. So I guess to clarify, maybe we should clarify Christian nationalism, because I feel like that's going to be a bit of the crux of the conversation. So how do you want to define it?
To the definition of Christian nationalism would just be the proposition that Christians utilize influence and authority to stay in the moral majority, and that they adopt systems towards Christian ethics.
And that right there, folks, proves Andrew Wilson right once more. Keep in mind, these were opening statements, yet she even attempted to continue the debate when it is clearly a lost cause. Andrew Wilson didn't hold back. These are legitimate examples, especially in today's society. Religion is often made fun of or avoided, and due to that, there's more degeneracy, not just in the States, but across the world. And it is really sad to see. And due to the circumstances, there may be a chance to reverse some of it if the masses wake up on time. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more clips like these, comment down below, share your thoughts, and we'll catch you on the next one.